So we just finished training back. Awesome workout. Learned a lot of new different things. How to really contract the mid part of my back. What'd you think, Neil?
Well, first and foremost, I just want to say it's awesome to have Zane, obviously, in Flex's facility here, obviously down in Boca, guys. I know, obviously, Zane and Flex are very good friends on stage and off stage, and I know that they both have the utmost of respect and want the best of each other, whether that's in their private life or their professional bodybuilding lives. And of course, I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity to meet some amazing athletes outside of my team as well. So I got the opportunity to meet Zane for the very first time, really, just a number of weeks ago, obviously up in the Flex Lewis Classic in Canada. And
that was your first time in Canada?
Yeah, my first time in Canada. Cool. And it was a great experience, guys, so I appreciate, obviously, all the hospitality for everybody who made that trip possible, as well as, obviously, Flex.
Did you like the igloos?
I liked everything about Canada, other than the fact that I wasn't there as long as I'd like to, and of course I only saw a small part of Canada. I know it's a beautiful country, but I like the people, and everything about it was amazing. But
how many sets was that we did in our workout?
We did about 18 to 20 working sets. Now that's not necessarily what we were planning to do. We were kind of just, this is my first time obviously training with Zane, so of course I wanted to see what his movement patterns were like, obviously trying to find out exactly what areas he was working on his physique. And one thing that is very apparent from what he's told to me is that even though he's obviously got those amazing wide shoulders and those lat attachments, he's really trying to build thickness obviously in the midsection of his back. So obviously exercise execution and selective choice is paramount and the most important, obviously, when you walk into the gym. And a lot of people, when they walk into a gym environment, they will see people who maybe inspire them and they will follow the same workout, but they don't necessarily understand the science or exactly what's taking place when they're performing those exercises, or even how to actually apply maximum stress to a muscle.
Yeah, it was really different having somebody so educated over my shoulder. Like you said earlier, my coach is Chris Assetto, but he basically just does my diet. My father, he was a national level bodybuilder. He trains me every day. He's my coach, but there's a lot to learn, and just working with somebody who's so knowledgeable. It brings so much. Just any little tiny different thing that you can change makes a huge difference. And I learned a handful of things today, and I'll apply them all. I hope next time you see me, it's like
a change.
Yeah, whoa.
Yeah, well, I hope as well.
I did that
as well, Zane. What's really important, and you guys and girls out there as well, is that building muscle tissue takes time. You have to be patient. It doesn't happen overnight. Of course, there are many factors which come into play on the recovery rate or the ability to build muscle tissue: genetics, exercise selection, diet, supplementation, rest. But also, you have to understand as well, if you're going to use a new strategy or a new training program, or you're going to execute or implement new exercises, you need to be applying those week after week after week after week, because it may take 4 to 6 weeks to start seeing the real changes taking place. So it's very important that you guys and girls out there, the viewers, when you're extracting information from Zane, don't just follow a program of his for a week or 2 weeks and think, hey, this is not working or this is working, because it's going to take weeks to see those changes. You need to be implementing things weekly. You need to be sticking to those things. You need to be open-minded to obviously to make choices and changes where you need to, but you need to make sure you give it the time that it's going to take to allow those changes to take place. Okay.
Well, Neil gave me a little bit of homework to do, so I got 6 weeks to the Olympia to do it, and I hope I can even impress someone like you. So I know you work with champions. And
well, I'm going to give you a compliment now. I've said this to you already. I think that Zane is he's one of those athletes which is in a crossover division, which means that he's got to lose muscle tissue to get into that 212 class, and he doesn't quite have enough muscle tissue to compete in that open class. I personally feel that if he takes the plunge and decides to go into the open class, do I think it's going to be 18 months, 2 years of hard work to put that muscle on his frame? Yeah, 100%. but I do feel that's when you're going to see the very, very best of Zane Watson. That doesn't mean for 1 minute that this guy isn't going to be a contender and not going to be challenging, within that top 6 of the Olympia, because I generally believe that he is. It's going to be very, very tough out there, guys, because the depth of talent now in that 212 class is phenomenal. There are athletes out there who've got world-class professional physiques who are going to struggle to get in the top 10.
No doubt.
So even if an athlete doesn't get 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, it doesn't mean that takes away how phenomenal their physiques are. But I generally think that Zane has got a real shot to be a challenger within that top 6, and I mean that. I told you already.
Yeah.
You're going to be one of the widest, tallest guys in that class. You're also going to be one of the hardest and driest guys in that class. And you've also got great.
Have to be to make 212.
Yeah.
I got to be to the bone.
Yeah, but you've got a phenomenal physique, Zane. Not everybody has lines, but this guy's got beautiful flowing lines as well. And I'm all about bodybuilding. Bodybuilding to me isn't just about muscle tissue. It's many aspects of what creates a phenomenal bodybuilding physique. And this guy has pretty much every single thing. The only thing he needs is to keep working on that muscle mass, but the trouble is building more muscle tissue means it's more of a struggle to get into that weight category of the 212. So it's going to be interesting.
What are you drinking here?
So I'm just taking in my Cage Muscle post-workout Recage, guys. I've also got some fast-acting carbs as well into here, and I've also got a bit of vitamin C, so it acts as a bit of an anti-inflammatory, because there's definitely a lot of anti-inflammatory responses taking place out there. A lot of inflammation. We really busted our ass today, especially because we were concentrating on our isometrics and contractions. There's a lot of positive stress and trauma taking place, obviously deep within the muscle belly and the muscle fibers.
How about your intra-workout?
So intra-workout, I don't tend to take intra-workout supplements. We just got somebody gate crashing in the background. We got Ali, the boss, Flex, his wife, just jumped in there. It always be nice to Ali, guys. That's
video bomb.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
But when I say I'm not into intra-workout, I'm one of those people who believe that if you're not already hydrated when you walk into the gym, and you don't have the key nutrients in place before you walk into the gym, so those are going to come from obviously multiple different raw compounds, then I feel that you're missing the opportunity of what you're trying to provide your body, in a gym environment when it comes to stress and load. So yes, there is a place, for intra-workout supplements, but my intra-workout supplements tend to go into my body before I start training, and then I might be drinking probably about 1.5 liters of fluid throughout my workout as well. And yes, there may be some residue in here of some citrulline, and my fermented citrulline or fermented branched chains or glutamine, and maybe there may be a little bit of essential branched chains as well. I know that Cage has just brought up the Synergy, which is a great product, but I'm not relying on those products as a means of my intra. It's just the residue which is left in my bottle, and obviously I fill my bottle up back up there with water.
Do you have an opinion on post-workout fruits?
No. I mean, for those people who believe that carbohydrate shouldn't be ingested after a workout, it's going to completely be determined by the individual. So I'm a big advocate of fruit. All of my athletes know that obviously fruit tends to be in their diets. I'm not using a lot of fruit with Flex. Very little, because it's a struggle to make weight. Yeah. So it's very important that I'm very selective with the choice of carbs going into his body.
And do you think the fruit would keep his weight?
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it definitely would. Because
Sugar?
even though it's fructose, I've got to limit his carbohydrate intake, and it's more sensible for me to put complex carbs into his body, because it's going to have less of a hindrance as far as spiking his blood sugar levels. Yes, so I'm better off trying to keep his blood sugar levels stable with complex carbs. Now, if we didn't have to make the weight limit, it would be different. I could put those carbs in. So for instance, William Bonac, I've got William on about 200 grams of fresh pineapple every day.
Nice.
One, because of it's obviously it helps as a natural digestive enzyme, and secondly, obviously the responses when it comes to vitamins, etc. there. So I don't have that issue, because obviously William is an open class bodybuilder. For me, I would be able to have my fruits, not a problem whatsoever. Whether I was going to have those in every meal or post-workout would be obviously my choice. But you can get lean. I know what your diet is, but there's no reason why Zane can't get lean eating fruit in every single meal. Not primarily as this focal complex carbohydrate,
sure,
but just as a means of something which actually tastes pretty good as well, yes?
I like it more for the reason I think it's fibrous, you know, it helps my digestion more than anything. That's how I feel, and I love fruit, so having an apple, if I got my apple taken out of my diet, I probably wouldn't be a bodybuilder anymore.
You know, I can relate to that because the smallest of things, man.
Little thing, my breakfast and my post-workout apple, you cannot take those from me. I won't drop it. I don't care if I'm overweight.
So when I was a competitive athlete, Zane, I had fruit in my first meal. I had a banana and apple and a kiwi fruit. My second meal, I'd have pineapple. My third meal, I would have an apple. My fourth meal, I would have banana and apple again.
Wow.
And I would also
every meal.
Yeah, pretty much every meal. And then my last meal before bed, I would have fruit again. And fruit didn't all day. Yeah, all day long. So remember,
how close to a show?
Right up to show day, pretty much.
Straight up, not drop it.
No, because
people always change things.
You don't need. I mean, don't get me wrong. People's body will work differently with different food choices. I understand that. Okay, so I'm not saying that everybody can eat fruit, but I also have to make you guys and girls be open-minded enough and understand that there are certain foods that there is no reason why you cannot be consuming when you're dieting if your body works in synergy with that food choice. Yes. If I was to reduce my complex carbohydrates or my fruits, for instance, and I created too much of a deficit, I'm slowing down my body's ability to recover and utilize a means of stored energy, fat as a means of energy source. I would slow down my ability to lose body fat, and I would increase my ability to be overtrained or be in an over dieted state.
Get it.
So again, as I said, I mean, I don't know what you're consuming as far as your foods are concerned, but looking at your physique and seeing what I've seen like in the past and present, I don't see any reason why you can't, other than the fact you've got to make 212, so at some point you have to make choices on what you're going to consume. Yes. So
from a coach's point of view, you know, we kind of did a little bit of posing after. What do you think in terms of where I'm at 6 weeks out?
You're definitely ahead of yourself. You know, for 6 weeks out, you're in an awesome place. I definitely think that you've done the smart thing as well, obviously, when you did your last shows, which was, correct me if I'm wrong, was New York Pro and obviously the Canadian Pro show. You needed to obviously get elevation back up with your weight and obviously get some kind of stability taking place, otherwise it would be very easy to go into an overtrained state. But looking at your physique in there, your body looks fresh. You know, it looks fresh. It doesn't look like it's been dieting for 5 months or 4 months. You know, it looks like it's, you know, very resilient, and I think you're in a really, really good place.
Coming from the man himself, Yoda, thank you so much. That was an awesome workout.
Cool, buddy.
Yeah, very cool. From the Dragon's Lair in Boca Raton, out.